Well, everybody, this is the last day that I can work on this, and I thought that I'd go through some things that I'm going to do. We already got 4 watchers and 1 like. That's great. So let's go to cam 2, and we'll transition that. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how I got that picked off on that one side. Yesterday, somebody had mentioned, use heat. Well, the reason I brought this to the apartment here is, first off, this was a pretty intricate, can't move in here, a pretty intricate pick, and I needed to use the heat gun. So we'll just we'll pick this out, and then I've also made up my mind that it needs some more graphics, and I thought that I would search the web for a Snyder Cup graphic and add that graphic to one wing, and then I'm going to add a big shell logo to the others to kind of balance it out. Plus, I have to figure out the extra pieces that go on around the stunt hanger or around the rondelles. So if you have any questions, I wish I could play music. I can't because of the policies. But we'll sit here and pick these out, and then I'll get on to the next thing. So the first thing you do, and you got to be careful because you don't want to use too much heat, you'll bubble the paint. So don't use a real heat gun, use a monocoat heat gun. A real heat gun puts out about 15 to 20,000 BTUs. This just puts out 1,000 or watts. This just puts out 1,000 watts, and it would still bubble the paint. So you just want to heat them up till they get soft. Try to get them to release. And take your scalpel. Hopefully we can get these off without a big ordeal. This is always such a breathtaking operation because this rudder is built up. This has silk span on it, so you could easily poke a hole through the silk span with the scalpel. And this is going to take a bit to get off. That's why I decided to do it here, because I'm sitting down instead of standing up at the bench. We also have to do out some type of shoestring script and the exhaust area for the nose. So today will be I don't know how many hours we put in yesterday, but every time I go over to John's, I kind of wear him out. He's not used to working those long hours like that. But today will be another long day because this is, like I say, the last day to work on the trim, full day until next week. And then it's only like 1 day a week for me to work on the trim. Am I getting through? Can you guys hear me okay? I went back and I think what I'm going to do with them videos from yesterday is edit them down into one short video that's probably 6 hours of video. Come on. I know it's right there. Yeah, Keith. Okay, great. This will be the same audio stuff that I use when Danny Winship comes. Of course, listening to them phone videos that I did using a little lavalier mic stick and pointed forward, it surprisingly picks up the audio pretty well. Oh, only a few left on this side, then we'll work on the Thompson Trophy. You know what, I'll take this elevator off and get in here a little easier. I think from now on I'm going to use the heat gun to take these off because they come off so much nicer with the heat. You know, when you're working on a motorcycle tank or a car or whatever, you just dig under the edge of the stencil and rip it right off. You're not worried about paint coming up or whatever. But when you're working on these models, paint peeling up or digging into the soft wood is a real concern. So let's see here. Dan Winship. Morning, Sparky, aka by I sent you an email out of the Pampa directory concerning contact. Are you a member of Stunt Hanger, Dan? I get emails. Rich's videos. Question about painting. Can you use acrylic paint for trim colors over these dope colors, then use dope clear for finishing? To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, back in the old days you couldn't, because the dope was aerogloss and you couldn't paint anything over. I mean, but I don't know about today's dope, if it would work. I'll look for the email, Dan. I don't know which email address you sent it to. I guess I could give out the Stunt Videos email address here. It's stuntvideos@stunthanger.com. I don't know how up to date Chris Rudd has kept that Tampa directory. Two more and then we'll work on the Thompson Trophy. But I'll get with you somehow, Dan, on getting together. Now that I know you tried to send me an email. Okay, got a line right here. I think I'm going to go down the way with a red line anyway, but okay, I'll do that. I will call you later on this afternoon when this video is done. I'll give you a call, Dan. I'm not sure John's a member of Pampa, so. Okay, we got it picked. What do you think? Does it look all right? Kind of adds a little pop to it. There's still many touch-ups to do before it's finished. It's just part of the game. I mean, I had a red spot right here, if you remember. I took 2000 grit sandpaper and sanded it off, so that'll cover with clear, no problem. So now I'm going to let you guys be part of the creative process. And we'll see what we'll get a consensus. Boy, this thing runs hot. Let's take this off. I need a larger shell logo. We'll probably put that on this side, and then the Thompson Trophy on that side. I also have to tape scallops. The scallops will go behind the headrest here and from the nose. It's a 3-color scallop setup. They're not real difficult to paint. They're a little difficult to tape, and we might get started on that. I'm still deciding whether to paint this scoop black and the frame of this windscreen black. I'm going to have to look at the pictures of the MC72 and see how they got it set up. I don't know. So now, let's see. Thanks, Dan. Checkers are always good, yeah. So we're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to paint this shell logo today and get this. Of course, I don't know, the heat takes this up pretty easy. Let me go out to the car. Give me 1 second. I'll go out to the car and grab the stencils for that, because I brought them back without bringing them in. So give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, made it back. I told you it wouldn't take but a minute. So we have to transpose these shells for the color change. And this is how you do it. And it's a pain. So let's switch to this camera. And transition. Okay. So I've made a stencil. Joe Reinhardt gave me the advice on cutting about 1/4 around the design paint mask instead of sticking the whole mask out. Well, Keith, that's a great advice, except that's the old way with old materials. The new material is this Oracle stuff, and it comes up pretty easy. It's very low tech. And Joe Reinhardt is a super craftsman and builder. But that's just not how I do it anymore. I mean, I use this stuff here. The old way that I used to do it is exactly what Joe told you. Anyhow. So I need my scissors because I have to make sure this bounding box is exactly the same as the other one. Otherwise, you have a problem. Where did my scissors go? They have this. There they are. Now, a sign painter uses registration marks, and I'm using the bounding box as the registration marks. So you have to make sure that the bounding box, that the two stencils are cut exactly the same. Like so. So that top line and this left side is cut exactly the same. And you got one shot to do this. You peel this off. And you register it up in the corner there. register it on that line. And pray that you got it. And let's see here. Now here's the secret I'm missing. Here's the secret on this. We're going to pull up the outside of this stencil and leave the inside stuck to the work. So you kind of don't want to press down the outside, just as Keith was talking about there. These color changes are really difficult to get right. So we're going to press down the inside and leave the outside of the stencil. Joe Reinhardt, I don't know that I have a picture handy of his Cycle series. That airplane, unbelievable. So anyway, back to the color change. Stick down the center sticker, leaving this as hopefully. Oh. So you have to gracefully somehow get this outer off. You know, people say when they look at my airplanes, where'd you get those decals? They're not decals. Everything I do on my airplanes is painted. I mean, except for the super tiny letters where those on my Thunderbolt were painted on, but they were done by a guy, Tank Hangersley, and that was a laser cut stencil, military font stencil. And the nomenclature on my Thunderbolt was exactly as the real Thunderbolt. The jack places and the fuel loadings and water tanks and all the other nonsense. Come on, get off of there. There it is. All right, there's the color change on that. Then it's just a matter of taping this square up, airbrushing light coat of red on there, and then picking the stencil off, and it'll look like a decal. And you can do this with as many color changes as you want. So, for example, let's say that it was well, I just showed the 2-color change. If it was a 3-color change, you would have to paint the second color like this, then make your next decal as a layover with the bounding box exactly the same, and do the same thing. And you know, you could do it all the way up to 15 colors if you have patience, or as many colors as you wanted. I don't know, a circuit machine, I don't know. I cut mine on this machine right here, back in the corner. It's an MS Cutter MH871 Mark II. You can get those from US Cutter. Today I'll be running through the SVG software again. To show you how that the simple vector graphics software, which they give you when you buy the machine. The machine's $300, or maybe it's $270. Anyway, so now let's go to the other side and do the same thing. So that'll be all ready to go for when I get this Thompson trophy done. Because here, instead of like at John's, I have to take the airplane off the stand, out the front door, set up my little tiny compressor, and it's good for small jobs like this. It would not be good for painting airplanes. In a pinch, if you have enough determination, anything will work. It's just a matter of how much do you want to diddle with it. So let's go back to the other view. Okay, and like I say, the absolute most important thing on what I'm telling you here, I'll show you. The absolute most important thing on doing these intricate color changes is this bounding box right here. If you look up here, you'll see underneath the transfer tape the blue aura cover, or whatever they call this stuff, Oscal or whatever. Above that there's a white line. Well, that wouldn't index right. It would not be the same. So take your scissors and carefully make that match. You got to do it on two sides, or else your stencil will be out of key. It won't key correctly. Now, like I said, a real sign guy would use registration marks, but registration marks would waste a lot of material. So I just use the bounding box. And when I do the Thompson trophy deal today, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, I already had that side cut. But I need this side cut because I can't, nope, can't register on that side. Has to be this side. These are breathtaking moments. I gotta hold my breath to get them perfect. Yeah. Okay, let me turn this heat off. It's too hot in there. Now, as Dan here will attest, back in the days, and I'm not talking that far back, it's only the 90s. I mean, I'm not talking the 60s when I started all this nonsense. in the 90s we used to tape everything out. There was no stencils like this. I mean, you could use shelf paper and cut stencils. And as he was alluding to, Keith was alluding to, where you cut those stencils and lay them down, you just press on the edge all the way around. But different material. So with the the advent of all this new stuff, and like I said before, I didn't know about fine line tape. We used crepe tape and cleared over the crepe so that the paint didn't seep underneath the edges of the paint. This stuff is pricey. A roll of fine line tape is about $15 to $18. Quarter inch, I think, is more than that, or whatever. This stuff, this blue stuff here, is not cheap. I don't know how much it is a foot, but the end result is so much easier, or so much nicer, and so much easier that it's well worth whatever the cost is. You're either going to pay one way or the other in time or in outcome. So you've heard the adage, you're going to play, you're going to pay. Well, that's about 100% correct. You either going to pay for the good stuff, just like Danny used to sell some products that were, people would complain about how much they cost, but not me. I mean, you get what you pay for. And like the Casminato carbon fiber tank, who is going to spend $105 for a 6-ounce fuel tank? Well, a guy like me that wants to save an ounce. Or who's going to pay $100 for a Medusa spinner? Well, a guy like me who wants that 6-gram spinner. Because if you think about it, an aluminum spinner is $50. If you get it from Brodak, it's $30, but whatever. They've been $50 for so long. Or $100. So there's a $70 difference. Yeah, but there's also an ounce difference in weight. So it's kind of like going fast. That first 100 horsepower in a Harley Davidson is not that relatively that expensive to get. It might cost you, let's see, a crankshaft and heads and stuff. You might spend $3,000 to $5,000 for 100 horsepower in a Harley, in a twin cam. Every horsepower thereafter, after let's say the 105 mark, is going to cost you $5,000. So when you get to a certain point, it don't much matter. And I suppose that's the same way in cars or whatever. Them first 500 horsepower are relatively. The first 500 horsepower in a car is relatively inexpensive compared to the last 500 horsepower in price. So this is a relatively inexpensive hobby, all things considered. Motorcycles, HD cents for $100. You can't hardly buy a screw for $100 with a Harley. Yeah, there's $300 of material cost in this airplane just in finish, and $200 approximately in wood. So there's $500, which, if you think about it, is not that different than it was in the 60s, where it was $50. So it's all relative. Add a zero. I just saw in the forum Fox is coming out with another motor that's been sold to McCoy or whatever. I don't run Foxes, but I think that's great for the guys who, believe it or not, guys, I have never owned, well, I take that back. I've owned a couple Foxes, but I have never flown an airplane with a Fox 35. Never. And if somebody listening who's flown with me can say something different, please do. But I have never flown a Fox 35. My engines of choice back in the day were McCoy's OS Super Tiger. Okay, that one went on pretty good, so, or pretty good, went on perfect. So now let's work on the Thompson Trophy. And for this operation, I'm going to do a little reset here. Now I want to search the web, so you guys might want to help me. Thompson Trophy logo, or Thompson Trophy GIF, or Thompson Trophy JPEG, that's .jpg. Because I know somebody out there has already done the artwork. And I'm going to have to redo the artwork anyway, but I need something to go off of. So, the model shop is my bedroom, or living room, or bathroom, or kitchen. It's all the same. Of course, that might change here shortly. So, let's do this. And this, and I put those other decals right here. But I'm not sure how I want to do them yet. So I haven't painted them on. But I kind of got to get an idea for where these go before I start loading this thing up with graphics. So they go here and here. So these two go together. Like so. This is the color change one, and that one is not. Of course, I could make it color change, and then there's the bottom. Okay, so we have those two. Let's put them with the shells. I'm gonna have to make a bigger shell. Thanks, Chris. Good morning. No, we're not gonna Walmart it. Everything I got flies. If it don't fly, it ain't worth having. Okay, so we can get an idea of what's going to happen here. I'm going to change the view of this. See, when Danny comes and we're going to do something at John's basement, you won't see all this moving of cameras. It'll be already moved and then I'll transition, so it'll look more professional, like a real movie instead of home movie, Mickey Mouse. But it takes at least 3 guys to do that, because it's very hard to be the producer, the writer, the worker, the cameraman, the editor and announcer, and get it all done at the same time. So let me get my OBS set up here for screen grab. We're gonna do this. Let's see here. Let's do this. I'm looking for Thompson Trophy. THOMPSONTROPHY. Thompson Trophy Cup GIF or JPEG images. Well, that's a cool looking airplane. Graphic. Trophy Cup graphic. Let's try that. GRAPHIC. And now it's the endless search. Well, I want something that says Thompson Trophy on it. The rest of the results might not be what you're looking for. Let's see more anyway. We got a St. Louis Cardinal, Redbird. I can put that on there. I think I'm going to have to change search engines, to be honest with you. I don't believe that that Google is offering up the searches that I want. They're kind of skimping out on it. So let's transition over here. Stupid thing says it's not. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth streaming such as view. I don't know what the heck they're looking for. In that last stream, nothing was moving. So are we still online, or is YouTube messing with me? Yeah, it looks like it's still moving, so. Okay, let me go back to this trophy graphic. We want to do something here, and I'll bring you into the search here as soon as I find something close. I think I might have to go to DuckDuckGo. How about a just trophy graphic? Delete that. And I'll just put trophy graphic on there. Graphic. Show me pictures of trophies. Nothing too difficult. Come on. It's Trophy Cup High Res Vector. Well, that's what we want. Let's see if it's going to cost me to get it. Yeah, they're how much do you think it cost? I mean, I could still use this, but I'm not going to rip them off. How much do you think it costs? I'll turn this around so you can see the screen instead of me going through the rigmarole of posting it. That graphic right there, I don't know if you can read that or not. The extra small is 50 bucks, small is 175, medium is 375, and the large is 500 bucks. Ain't no way. Because I don't need something that exotic. So let's clip out of this. I really wanted the Thompson Trophy graphic. I've seen them, or maybe I could put Vico on it. Let's see here, something. Vico. V-E-C-O. That looks kind of racy and trophy. What do you guys think? Vico powered. That's right out of the 60s. Now I would have to remake that graphic, which wouldn't be that hard. I think we might do something. I think we might do something like that. Let's let's see how I can do that. I got a Snap-on logo I could add in there. I definitely want to do that. So let's open that with SVG. We are going to open the Snap-on logo with SVG. I've never tried to place by dragging them over. Let's see if that works. It does. It does. I learned a new trick today. Okay, view, zoom in. I need to get these bounding boxes and stuff over here. So we don't need this, so let's get out of that, but I need these tools. Gotta get them tools over there. Gotta have the text tool. Put that right here, I guess. What I'm going to do here this too, to that and work on both of them. Let's try it. It won't add from there, so I have to add from here. Come on. Stupid thing wants to act goofy on me. So I'm looking for the Vico, ST Vico. Let's see, drop this in here, and it does add, so that's good. Okay. Now I'm not sure Vico will cut. I might have to do some rigmarole on that. But we need to go to OBS, and I need to add you into my program. So we're going to add, let me close this out. We're going to add a window capture, display window capture. We're going to put it on cuts a lot. C-U-T, cuts, A-L-O-T. Okay. All right. So now, you transition over. Okay, let me see if I can get that. Might be kind of small. Let's see, cuts a lot. Why can't I edit transform? Transform, edit. I want a free transform. No bounds. Alignment in the bounding box. Top left. Bottom right, center. Let's try that. Ooh, that wasn't good. Reset. Position, rotation, 120. 1920 by 1080. Should be 16:9. 1920. Let me type this a little faster. 1080. Okay. All right. You see what I have to go through? It ain't easy. So we'll close this up. And what's going on here? Capture method automatic. Okay. And let's transition it over. Okay, let me look and see what's on YouTube, what we look like there. Live streaming, it says sound and video look good. Okay. I gotta wait for a second here for this thing to catch up to see if all right, Keith, take care. I have to wait for this thing to catch up. You know, instead of shell, I think I'll make it the Snap-on logo. And this is all off my little laptop. It you know, when I was in St. Louis streaming, it was off a gaming computer, pretty high Zoot at the time, that I built. A couple $1,000, but it died, so I just with the advent of the laptops producing more horsepower, I decided, well, I'm not going to rebuild that gaming computer. It looks like it's catching up pretty good. You might have to zoom in. Yeah, you can kind of see it. See what I'm going to do. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get an inspection on this Vico. And it's going to be a 2-color change, and I'm thinking it's probably a vectored graphic that has a bunch of layers in it. So let's Control Shift and make it big. And that does not look. Let's see if I can take out the colors or not, and I don't think I can, so might have to go back to trace image. Yeah. File, trace image. What this update preview. Okay, you see what that did? That turned a JPEG into a vector graphic. So we'll delete that one. And the vector graphic has no background. So now I should be able to fill color, should be able to be turned off, none, and there you go. Those are the cut lines of the vector graphic. However, if you look at it, it has a bunch of little dots on it. Well, we're going to have to go to Object, Ungroup, then Object, Break Apart. And now I'm going to have to zoom in. This is a total pain in the butt to do all this stuff, but you know, it's all about the desire. What do you want to do? So it's Control plus. If you look here, we got little tiny, not going to be able to do it. Damn, I'm going to have to work on that at another time because that would bore you guys to death. I'm going to have to go through and manually edit out all those dots in another program. Or I could do it this way. Or I could do it this way. How would I do that? I would, is that, you know, I know better than to cut that on the plotter. The plotter would just grind out everything. Or I could just remake it in Inkscape. Which I might do. Let's zoom out and get the snap on. Control minus. We'll delete the Vico. Oh, I got it. Let's see here. Maybe I won't have to do such rigmarole. Control, zoom. See what happens here. Nope. It was just that one. Yeah, I'm going to have to... you see how every time I click on the layer it takes away some of that chatter? Let's see what happens here. Yeah, this is all going to have to be made as a vectored graphic. So the person who did this didn't do a very good job. That's what I'm saying. It's always something. So let's delete the whole thing. A bounding box. Delete. I'll have to remake that at a different time. But I can work on the snap-on. So Control Shift and drag this snap-on big so I can see what I'm doing. That turned out pretty good. Let's see what happens here. Can I take out the color? Let's see here. Object, trace image. Edit. Trace image. Nope, it's going to be splotchy too, but we'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about, what I'm up against. Okay. Alright. Let's see here. Color, none. Color. Yeah, that's going to have to be done too. So it looks like we're not going to get to that today. I'll have to, it'll take me hours to make that work. Well, I can tell this thing is really, really struggling. Okay, we're out of this. What's going to happen here, let me close out of this program. No. What's going to happen here is I will make these up today off camera because it's just going to be way too. You found a picture of the real trophy. Well, that's not exactly what I'm looking for, but I know what I'm looking for, but I don't know. So it's either going to be a Snap-on logo here or a Shell logo and the Thompson trophy over there. It's entirely, I'll have to spend the day making them. I did card this thing off this morning. Spent some time. Just use a credit card. There's a couple little nibs on it. Remember, when you're see if you look here, this will be your last chance to clean this up. I can't believe how far behind we're lagging. Anyway, I guess we're about 2 minutes behind. The computer's really working hard. This will be your last chance to get all the nibs off. God, I'm still working on screen. I'm still working on the Snap-on logo. It's got to be at least 2 to 3 minutes off. The pipe must be full today. Spend some time manipulating that flashing off of there. You can also take some triple-aught steel wool and go over this. I don't like doing that because it has a tendency to leave behind the steel fibers. Doesn't matter how good you wipe the airplane down, you're always going to find a steel fiber in the clear. Are you guys still there? Or what's going on? I'm going to have to reset OBS completely. Get some new settings in there. Yeah, we're finally coming around. Let's see, this one or this one? Yeah, this one. The thing's about 2 minutes behind, so just remember, this is your last chance. So whatever it looks like here is what it's going to be like. So I suggest you clean it up, touch it up. I also had a little bit of overspray that seeped out of the stencil on the bottom. I just took some 2000 grit sandpaper and sanded it off. Here's another tip. If a mistake happens while you're painting, don't touch it. Let it dry. I mean, there's always a tendency to want to try to wipe it off. Don't do it. It'll be a bigger disaster than fixing it. I don't know many of you. I don't know. I've never seen any of your workmanship or whatever. And this is not a brag or whatever. It's just, if you look at this airplane looks like it's made of plastic. Well, it looks like it's made of plastic because dope is plastic. And the only way to get it to look like this is from an inordinate amount of sanding. The shine and the outcome comes from within. That's why my tagline on the forum is, the finish starts with the first piece of wood cut. And Danny Winship, how come you're not a member on Stunt Hanger? I don't understand that. I thought I had everybody that was anybody on Stunt Hanger. Okay, that's about it on that one. Let me wipe it with a paper towel. Now, I just carded it. I'm going to get a paper towel and put a little Windex on it because the Windex acts as a magnet. Hopefully it'll pick up any of those little, I don't know what, flashings. plus it could knock some of the other need to weigh this puppy and see where we're at on weight. I don't want to come out over 58 ounces. I guess I can let it slide at 59, but gotta stay under that 60 mark somehow. I gotta figure out how to dodge some weight. Yeah, everybody's waiting for me to drop this off the bench. Well, we've had 83 views. And we've been on an hour and 11 minutes. So basically, just like yesterday, I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to go into my editing software and make those graphics. I don't want to bore you with how I'm going to make the graphics. It's just my computer, when you're doing graphics, it just takes so much computing power. There's just no way to stream and suck the power out of the computer. So I'm going to make the graphics, and I'll come back later on this afternoon with the graphics made, and we'll do the placing of what's going to transpire here. As far as the painting, I don't know. But here's those little hairs again. When I get ready to shoot the clear, it'll be several wipings to get the damn thing clean. Because I'm finding those little nibs everywhere. Better get some tack cloths, I guess. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll be back in probably, it'll take me a couple hours to make those. So, let me get my standby graphic up. Till I see you again. Fair winds, tight lines. Be back in a couple hours. See ya. it's made, and we'll do the placing of what's going to transpire here. As far as the painting, I don't know. Well, here's those little hairs again. When I get ready to shoot the clear, it'll be several wipings to get the damn thing clean.